Hello and welcome to episode 22 of our Timberborn Update 7 Emberpelts playthrough, Cycle 40, Day 5. We've got a lot of stuff left to do. How many times have I said that one? But just to recap briefly the past couple of episodes, we've got some juice and some food storage in multiple places around the map. We got one here. We got one technically over here. And then we come all the way over to this part. And we have just recently, most recently, finished putting this in. And there's not a lot of food actually stored here yet because the farms haven't really caught up. So that's one of the things we need to be working on next couple of episodes, as well as expanding population to different areas. And what I had thought of doing was building little outposts near these food and juice stations. So having one over here and having one over here. And the consensus among you guys in the comments seems to be that you would like to see some variety in terms of housing styles, like using these smaller lodges, making some aesthetically pleasing things. So I think we can do that, to a certain extent at least. So that is what I will do here, just to start off today, is get this set up just a little bit more nicely. And we have all these different staircases we haven't really done anything with. The decoration stair specifically is what I... Hello, autosave. Is what I put over here in our central bunker area. If you pay attention, this is a decoration stair. You can't really see it, but it's there. And we have two-way access into the middle of this. I have this set up in a tiered formation, and I've left a provision for this to connect somewhere else in the future. But we have nothing over here right now. But for the time being, I think it's going to be in our best interest to get this just kind of started here. It doesn't have to be anything, you know, supremely amazing, but I would like to get started because we are still lacking beavers to do a lot of stuff, and there's plenty more that we need to do. So, in terms of connecting to tubeways, remember, we have bad water going on underneath here, and this is no longer capable of flooding. Now, with the exception of this bit right here, I actually do need them to be able to take care of. Well, I think the only real way to solve this without sending them down in there is to blow up what's on top of it, which I know seems kind of insane. Let me see here. Is this even the right level? Oh, that's right. I have my coordinates in this version. 59,168 is what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. Except this is going to need to be a double, I believe. So, is this the most delicate solution ever? No, absolutely not. But it's going to work. And that is what matters. Time is of the essence because, you know, I feel like by the time I actually get this series done, if I do everything I want to do the way I want to do it, I'm probably going to be 85 years old, and that is 51 years from now. I don't want to wait that long. I also don't think this computer is going to work by then. So, what I think is going to make sense is to try and find a way to make this look kind of interesting. We have this second story triple lodge I could put up here and have a very simple entrance into the rest of the pathing system. I do kind of want to utilize these nice wooden paths in the residential areas, so we may end up replacing some of these. But this is going to connect to down here, and then I can put a very simple normal lodge. I will put the entrance facing into the hillside so it looks a little bit less ridiculous. But in terms of a more sprawled out building, I think this is about as big as I want to go for any given individual thing. We put a 2x2 roofing piece right here. Could very nicely... Oh, I don't have my thing all the way up. I could very nicely have that set up just like so. We do have these half pieces as well. So let me actually humor myself here. You know what? That probably would not look too bad. And if I take this mini lodge here, then I think this could end up looking actually kind of nice. Do our 2x1 just like that, and we have a lower entrance right there with our wooden path to connect to the stairs, and that has a little bit of visual interest, right? I don't think that looks too bad. And of course we can connect everything with these walkways and so on and so forth, but this is a good start, and that is what I'm attempting to do, is just get something going. Let's set this off, Beaver Boom. And now we take a look down, and these guys can actually reach where they want to be putting in all of this terrain, and then we can just fill in everything on top of that. They had to be able to get to it, and remember, the Emberpelts do not like getting wet. So anything that prevents them from having to do that is probably good design policy. All right, so we've got our little, I don't really know what architectural style this could be compared to. I won't attempt because I'm sure I'll get it wrong. But we can put in some other simple recreation things around here. We do, of course, have the frog statue. I know a lot of you are big fans of that guy. Very riveting design, if you will. So, yeah, that was bad. I'm sorry. Let's find ourselves maybe right about here. So it's overlooking part of the reservoir here. Let's put in a path so that we can have something going around this way. Maybe follow here. And then that's going to give us some space over here to put a couple of other things in as well. Simple things like scratchers. Usually a nice, easy thing to pop in somewhere. And this can actually get a platform on top of it. And then we can put either a roofing piece here, or we can do some decorations. I like the idea personally of having this thing right here, because this has a radius of 2, which is going to impact any beaver in this housing unit, and any beaver going down these stairs to get to the frog statue, for example. We also have contemplation spots. Always a pretty simple, nice option to stick somewhere. So if we just do something like that, then I've got some space here. In terms of decoration, there's not much that's going to fit there, but... well-being, rather. Decoration gives us a few options, like beaver busts. We've got shrubs. We've got lanterns. I know that was a thing somebody asked for at least once. So if I put a lantern here, then it's really only going to affect anybody going to the frog statue. But if I put a lantern here, then that's going to get anybody in these two housing units. Not this one, but it's something. Something can be affected with that. So why don't we do some shrubs flanking our contemplation spot, and then I got something right here that maybe could be a good place to put in a couple of benches. Not a bad idea. Just, you know, just something to start out here. Don't have to overdevelop necessarily. And did they put this dirt in? They did. Let's get this terrain repaired. And I believe... Oh, if this is the only one I had to put in, then I could have just had the regular dynamite, but you know how that goes. I think this is a good enough start for this area right here. It's close enough to the tubeways, and if I'm not wrong, this does connect... Okay, not super directly to everything, but it does connect, so that's a good start. And I think this area right here, we already have a couple of houses here, but since we have this gap, this could be a good opportunity for us to just kind of build some housing kind of underneath the cliff face or the overhang or whatever you want to call it. Thank you, autosave. And make something that looks kind of interesting, but I don't really know what the best strategy for that would be at this time. And therefore, I think what might be a better investment of energy is to pop in a couple of half-roof pieces here. Just create a little tiny bit of visual interest, and then how about some braziers? Because that might look kind of neat. Just little things, little details. And now we come back over here, directly atop our underground fortress kind of thing. I need some way to get in from above. And the very center of this is 127.104, which is this tile right here. And I'm not going to be able to get a two-way station in the very middle, so if I try instead for a two-way station on the top, remember this is the same width as these other paths, that's why I have that set there. I think what might make more sense for the general interest of keeping these things mostly aligned, if I take this out as a tunnel, then I can put the tiny two-way station here. Let's actually get that prioritized. Yeah, there we go. Nice and simple. And I put the tiny two-way station in first, then they can build up from underneath. That is 127.98. I have to use the tunnel. 127.98. There we go. So all the way up we go. This doesn't become exposed ever until we get to the very top, which is honestly my preferred way of doing that. And then we get to the very top here. We don't have to have the tiny tubeway station. For the sake of visual interest, we could very easily just do something like this with the normal size one. That doesn't actually look that bad. It's lined up perfectly with this, wow, tribute to ingenuity, which means we actually could have kind of a nice hub up here for some other stuff. And this is, I think, probably a decent candidate for an irrigation spot that could also serve as a nice visual, thank you, autosave, thing right here. We could put in, where's my swimming pool? Oh, that's right. Emberpelts don't like swimming pools. Well, that's kind of a bad idea then, isn't it? Well, it's going to look good anyway, so who cares? This would be a great opportunity for me to just stick a fluid dump up here. You know, just for the sake of having a space that doesn't look completely terrible. Let's have this kind of hug the outside. Just a path all the way around. We can make some visually interesting things. This will fill with water. We don't ever have to worry. We have 12,000 water. It is not going to be a problem. But in terms of decorations, this would be a great place to just kind of put hedges around. And figure out where we want to have breaks and stuff. So like maybe the very middle of this would be a good spot to have a break, and then that would mean I could do one of these, make some little gate type things. And then directly across from this, but maybe centered right here would be a good opportunity to do that. So if we do the same kind of thing, just kind of frame the entrance there, it might look kind of good. And then right here, see, this is an even numbered side. Well, is there any reason I would want to have them come over here? I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's just kind of offset it a tiny bit. Put one there and one there. I would like for this to go sideways. Oh, it's not going to let me do that, is it? Okay. Well, what if I did... Okay, that's not going to combine there. Alright, so that kind of ruins that idea. Well, I guess this is okay. It's fine. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing with the shrubs here. That doesn't look bad. I know we do have wood fences and metal fences we can also build. But I'm thinking this right here would be good enough. We don't have, of course, a water monument because these beavers don't like water, but it's still going to look nice. And sometimes that's all you need, right? Wow, they actually, they built that pretty quick. Now, this is also going to make most of this area green to a certain radius. And this is kind of a thin spot, too. I was kind of worried about how I was going to be able to do that. But I think I kind of want to do the same thing with most of these depressions here. Now, one, because it looks nice. Two, because it gives me something to actually do up here with all this. And we have the ability to, you know, maintain it and not be completely insane. So if I just continue doing this with these wooden paths all the way around, we can get this hooked up and hopefully, I mean, you might not think it's anything special, but I do like this. All right, so this is another 6 long. So I'm going to have to pick, I guess I'll just offset that there. That is going to allow me to have this set up here. Okay, I can work with that. So then what I need to do is identify, yeah, see, this is another even side. Yeah, so I'll just do this. Now, do let me know what you think about this general design language. If you like it, if you don't like it. Remember, disagreeing is always allowed. Just pop that in. I'll move this one over this way so it's not quite as close. And then, depending on how we want to do this, so, see, look at that. It's already greened this much, and it's not even close to full. It gives us something to be kind of excited about. I think it's probably going to make sense for us to have a just regular full-size tubeway stations wherever we can. What's my gap between here? Is that 3? 3 between that and the hedge? All right, I can work with that. Seems like a nice common design language. And then that was under the front, or this under the back. Okay. So that one would go there. As long as this doesn't pop out somewhere. Ah, see, that's going to pop out somewhere. Well, you know what? That's actually okay because I can just go back here. I'll go back a couple of these, and then I should be able to, on this level, go all the way down. I don't think it's going to be a problem. All the way down to the very bottom here. And, you know, this actually isn't that far off from all of this. Let's get this connected here just to make it nice and simple. And they'll have a nice access to that. And then, of course, the other one comes in from this side, and we probably could end up connecting these. I'm just, at this point, I'm just trying to like make this area look a little bit nicer one step at a time. And slowly get everything else kind of interconnected here. We do have an access to this area with extra scrap metal. We don't need the scrap metal. But if we wanted to, you know, take this away so it looks a little better, we do have that option. Yeah, look at this. Filling up like that is actually not looking too bad. I also did forget, yes, that the Emberpelts bushes are not green. But that does still look good, in my opinion at least. Not too bad, not too bad. We also need to find a place for Wonder of Fire to go. And of course, we can't have more than one of these. That is, you know, it's allowed. But this may end up having to work in with a few other things. And possibly putting a sprawling housing thing kind of over here, if I can think of something. Because, you know, there's food, there's water, there's all this other stuff kind of in the same area. We do have this, which honestly, we can probably just say that this is as much as is ever going to be here. And cap it off with something. This wouldn't be super hard to do. I think they should be able to... Yeah, they can just walk around and build that. I don't know that it's like the most attractive design for anything, but it works. If you don't like it, let me know. I suppose, first of all, I have to remember which buttons to click. That's probably the most important thing. I'm just going to do a couple of these pieces here. Now, this is going to get interesting in this spot because I only have these... I have these half pieces here, but they don't really line up, and I don't have a corner piece. There was a modular roofing mod from... I want to say it was Battery Smooth, way back in Update 4 that I really, really liked. I used that in the Thousand Islands playthrough, if you remember that one. But that was a lot of fun. So I'm not entirely sure what to do here. I know I've got this and this actually covering all the housing, so I don't need to put another one in. But if I wanted this to have something else on it, I just can't get behind that as a design. So I could just do these half roof pieces here. I don't think that would look terrible. But this corner is kind of missing something. So what if instead I had on the very corner here, I had a brazier and then a lantern probably wouldn't do anything. These beaver busts wouldn't really do much either. See, this right here would actually cover a decent number of the beavers living in here, but then the other ones wouldn't have it. See, I don't know. I feel like that probably should go... Yeah, right here would actually be, logistically speaking, a better placement. See, this is also kind of the reason I don't usually do this. This technically would work, but I don't really like how that looks. So I think, you know what? Maybe the easiest thing to do is just do one of these numbers. Yeah, and then put that statue in the middle. I think that might make the most sense. We'll let them take care of that. Yeah, look how much of this is green now, just with this. And I know it's not even full yet. Honestly, I like that a lot. I think that's a huge improvement. Let's keep rolling on this. Get as much done as we can. And I do have to do this in backwards order from where this ladder is. So hopefully they don't take their sweet time to get this accomplished. I know they got other stuff to build, and I've spread them far and wide. But at some point, there we go. They built that from underneath, didn't they? Alright, so beaver statue right here should be able to maybe be built from inside as well. In fact, I can't imagine they couldn't do that. But that's going to, you know, give a nice bonus to the beavers living in here. And as soon as I see them actually... Yeah, there's no beavers coming up to do this. That means I can do that one and that one at the same time. And you know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I'm not completely in love with it, but it does actually work. To a certain extent. Alright, and that's fine. They haven't even started this yet because they haven't... Oh, bad tide time! I genuinely hope another catastrophe does not occur, but I'm pretty sure everything is okay. Should be fine. We did cap that off. This does have the impermeable floor here, so I know we can be fine with that. Okay, that just got finished, and that means it's time for another one of these, which I do not think they can do any other way than just getting up on top of here. And yeah, there they go. There they go. One last piece to get this area, I won't say like complete, but substantially enhanced may be a good way of saying it. Nice amount of water here. That's looking better. These here probably should be connected, but I can't really put tunnels here because there's nothing underneath them in most of this. So if I were to do that, I'd have to have a tunnel on the surface, or I'd have to have a path meandering between these, and I don't know that we necessarily need that yet. But I like this. I need to stop saying I like it, but I think it's an improvement. Something else to discuss is wheat production. I know I've said that past couple episodes. We need to build more farm stuff. Well, I hadn't figured out what to do with it yet. Then somebody suggested, hey, why don't you put in wheat production underneath where you're growing the wheat? And we do have space under here. There is a lot of possibility for us to put in wheat production. What do we need to do for wheat production, you might be asking? Well, anything that uses wheat has to have wheat flour first. And then the wheat flour goes into the bakery 3 different recipes. So we have the wheat flour going in for the scones, we have it going in for the cornbread, and we have it going in for the apple pies. Those, I believe, are all new recipes, or 2 of the 3 at least. Baked beets, I think, are one of the new ones. But I think, you take a look here. See, I like this. It's on the 1 hour standard. 1 wheat flour in 1 hour makes 5 scones. That's easy math. 1 wheat flour in an hour and a half leads to 8 cornbread, and 1 wheat flour in 1 hour leads to 5 apple pies. So, assuming we want to max out 3 bakeries, 1 for each recipe, we need to, every hour, be producing just under 3 wheat flour, just to take care of that. Now, we probably want to make more than 3 wheat flour per hour, but the grist mill in 1 hour makes 2. So if we just have 2 grist mills, then that's going to give us more than enough wheat flour to have 3 bakeries, 1 for each recipe. We probably, long-term, are going to want 2 for each recipe. So, if I just play it safe, and I build 4 grist mills for the purpose of grinding wheat flour, then I think we should be set for life. Or at least the life of this playthrough. Now, the grist mill, if you're not familiar, is slightly modified for the Emberpelts, but it still requires the same vertical clearance. Just so they don't actually... Oh, wrong button. Come on, there we go. So base bar might need to be lubricated there. Well, this keyboard's kind of old. They don't make this anymore. Anyway, it's got cherry browns in it. They probably need to be lubed. Rest in peace, cherry, man. How can you invent something and then go bankrupt because nobody else is buying your... Anyway, whatever. That's actually probably not exactly correct. Don't quote me, but I know they're exiting the hardware key switch market. Grist mill. Oh, that's right. I was checking height. I'm 90% sure this requires a 2-block height. Yes, and that would be correct. So, for us to have... Well, actually, while we're here, bear with me here, folks. For us to have a cavern with all of this, I am 90% sure... Yeah, see, the bakeries need 4 height. The grist mills don't. The grist mills can do 2. If the bakery gets 4 height... Come on, autosave. Camera lag, etc. Yeah, okay. That kind of complicates this. Because if I'm going to have it all underground and the bakeries emit, you know, smoke and fumes... Where am I anyway? Oh, here we are. If I'm going to have that underground, then that means I have to have a 4-block tall cavern, and this land right here is on height number 5. So if we go down to 0, that means the entire void underneath, right up to where the wheat itself is, has to be blasted out. That could pose issues. So I'm not entirely sure that's the best course of action here, but it would be very easy, if we're careful, for that to happen. So what I will probably end up doing here is I'm going to say let's blast this out. Tubeway tunnel's probably going to be the best way to do this. Now if I leave one gap here, tubeway tunnel, and then on the end of the tubeway tunnel, a regular tunnel. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have the tubeway tunnel built, and then the tubeway tunnel blast this out. Then I'm going to take the tubeway tunnel out and replace it with a tiny tubeway station, because then the beavers can walk around underneath here. We do have bad tide coming in. Don't worry, it's all automated. Everything is fine. We don't have to worry about it until we do, and then it becomes another thing where people say that I'm faking it, and I'm not, because how in the heck am I supposed to plan that? It's fine. Not everything is somebody trying to take advantage of you. Sometimes people are just stupid. But let's get this taken care of as fast as we can. And then I believe what I'm going to need to do is probably time-lapse this, because it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to do it without trying to talk at the same time. And it may end up being a little kind of dumb, the way that I have to plan this out. We will see. So that's what I'm going to do. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then, well, I don't know, maybe it'll be funny. But we'll find out, and I will talk to you about how it goes in just a moment. Alright, this has already taken way too long. How many times have I said that one? But what I've done here is, I hope you're able to follow the logical thought process here, even though this time-lapse is probably about 5 nanoseconds long by the time I sped everything up. So what's going to happen here is these tiles are going to be 4 of the grist mills, only for wheat stuff. And then what I initially blasted out, this 6x4 here and this 6x4 here are going to be 6 bakeries. 3 on each side, and then I expanded this area here for the raw materials, large warehouses each for the raw material for the grinding of the wheat and the wheat flour itself, and then various ingredients for the other things that go into the bakeries here. What's going to have to happen, and I know they're still blasting, but if we got to move on. What's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to be very strategic in how I remove things and replace them, because there is a limit to how much dirt can be supported from the side, and that is maximum extension of 3. So I cannot, under any circumstances, take out the platforms above the paths. But what I can do, very carefully, once this is all set up, I believe I should be able to build 1 of these large warehouses at a time. Yes, good. Because then they will become extremely load-bearing. How have I not unlocked this yet? Alright, cool. But yeah, they're going to become extremely load-bearing to support what's above them. Because once these are in place, then I can take this out. And then this here, on this level, is going to support the ground above that. And then here, once these 3 and these 3 are gone, these in the middle will support everything else. I know it's kind of a convoluted process, but... Oh, wait. They don't even have to blast this out. Okay, well, no, I've already said a billion times I don't want to play like that. I know it drives some people insane, but it's fine. We'll let them do that. We do have to get power over here. And power right now only comes to about here. And I think it's probably going to be faster and cheaper for me to just bring it this way and then branch out. alongside. So what's going to need to happen here is I'm going to have to get my vertical power shaft tunnel here, 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 and here to go across this bit and then all the way down. And then I'll do the same thing here, here, here. And then to get into this side, I'll have it go there. And then this is not going to look as great, but I am going to have it come over here so it can feed into these grist mills here. So everything will be powered. They will do that at their own pace. I am certain it will not be a fast process, but you know how it goes. So in the spirit of attempting to, you know, get anything accomplished before the heat death of the universe, I'm going to set some of this into motion, and we are going to have to go back into a time-lapse. But I know you guys want to see progress happen, and it's one of those things that I can't just have this all time-lapsed, because then, well, nothing's going to happen in the right order, and it's just going to be super ugly. So we'll let them continue part of this and go and look at something else. I just wanted to make sure we get started with that. But the reason that the dimensions on the storage are what they are is because this tile right here is extremely important for not flooding anything. And this is where the bakeries extend to. So that's the top of the bakeries, or the clearance spot. 4 high, 3 high, 2 high, 1 high. And then because the game doesn't care, but at least a few of you have said that I need to put in smokestacks or whatever for the industrial stuff. So I was thinking, I can't take this middle bit out because then it's going to collapse everything. But since this is already going to be open, I could take right here and maybe right here. Kind of in the middle of this cavern. I know it's a 6x6, or 6x7 rather, for the actual buildings. This is for a path. This one on the end is for a path. So one of these comes all the way up here through the top of this hill. Even if this is like the only one I do this with, could be a nice opportunity to just blast a vertical tunnel. And then we have these decoration blocks. We could either do wooden decorations or metal decorations. And then I'm not entirely sure how to go about doing this, but let's see if I can figure out what would make sense. It is kind of difficult to do this, but maybe what I could do... Yeah, it's 60 science, who cares? I could do something kind of like that. I don't know. Aesthetic sensibilities are decidedly not my forte. But I don't know if you have any ideas for that. Please do let me know. Decorations-wise and monuments-wise, I don't know that any of these really work. Like the brazier seems like kind of a super simple, like, cheat code for something like this, but we have those all over the map anyway. I don't think that's really going to be tremendous. Tubeways vertically, maybe? I guess that kind of looks like a smokestack if we had some sort of thing around it. Obviously, they'd be non-functional. You wouldn't have a beaver going up and down those, but I guess I should probably leave that to you guys to actually get this configured, figured out, whatever you want to say. So of course I am time-lapsing again, but I did leave some of these spaces unblasted in case I need to expand storage later. I didn't think I was going to need that much, but we'll evaluate once everything is up and running and we have things being produced. I may also look into putting another tubeway connection at the far end closest to the camera right now, just depending on things and how they line up, how the production seems to be flowing. We'll see what happens. There's obviously still tons of stuff we can do, but I wanted to make sure that in this episode, at the very least, we tried to do some sort of landmark achievement in terms of industrialization. Wow, good job, me. Industrializing an area or some sort of production we hadn't done yet, and also building a couple of housing outposts, which we've kind of already done. I might want to do one more. Depends on how much more time I have to actually record tonight, and this is going to be heavily compressed via time-lapsing, so we'll see. But we'll go ahead and come out of this time-lapse now and talk about the construction, hopefully finished construction of all of our wheat stuff here. Okay, so I've built out what I originally set to build out, but now I've realized a problem, and that is, on the bakery page there's a scroll bar that I had not anticipated being there, so I was not planning on the pepper bread being a thing. And that takes wheat flour. The scones take wheat flour. The cornbread, I did not think was going to take wheat flour because it also takes cornmeal. But apparently I can't read. So now there's 4 recipes. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4 recipes that take wheat flour. So I have a choice. I can either double all of the recipes for the original 3 that I was trying to do and just ignore the corn stuff. Ignore the cornbread, because that's not, like, you know, what we're trying to build here. Or I can try to retrofit this to have 8 instead of 6. And that's kind of what I started doing here by blasting this out. But then I ran into the problem of some of this area actually being something that could flood if I did that. So a couple of these pieces of land here are new, and I need at least this piece of terrain to be built. They can build it from underneath once this is accessible, but they can't reach this. So I'm going to give them a little more room to come in here and take care of this. Let's get this on triple speed. And then they should be able to put this in. Once they put this in, then I can blast this out as well. And then I can blast these out because that was previously not possible. And I know this is like a whole lesson on, well, don't do that, it's stupid. Well, why not? Well, you'll figure it out if you try to do it. So I think it's the right thing to do to have all of this put in here in one spot. But that does throw off my calculations for the grist mill, because now this bottom one, every 1.4 hours, uses a single piece of wheat flour. So in 1 hour, I don't... Two of these in 1 hour is maybe going to be too much. Honestly, I don't know. Everybody watches these videos is apparently a math genius except me. But I don't even watch the video, so I guess that's fine. What am I even saying? Nobody knows. But point being, I really don't know. I really don't know if I want to expand this to include the cornbread. That would be the easiest one not to do here, would be the cornbread, because, well, corn is not being mealed in the grist mill here. So, for now, so we can have this done today, done, quote-unquote, I think I'm just going to do it without the cornbread. So we've got apple pie, scones, and pepper bread, and we should fill in the ingredients for that. So, I've got the large warehouses. I probably, if I was a little more careful with how I laid this out, I could have done the underground storages. But I was concerned about overhangs and the support from underneath. So I figured the large warehouses would be simpler. So what I'm going to do is take a single large warehouse for wheat, which, yes, we do have right there. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to have 2 warehouses for wheat flour because I can, because the wheat storage is here. And this is 3,600. So that's fine. Apple pies require the following ingredients. Wheat flour, 2 apples each, and 0.05 5/100ths of a unit of charcoal. That's going to require a pile. The rest of these also require charcoal. So what I should have done is I should have made a pile for charcoal. And I can at the end here. But before I do that, I really want to make sure that I don't need to put in anything else to get another pair here. If I did a pair, then these 2 sets of platforms here and here would go away, which would leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4 spots right here to put something else in. So that would be, without moving this path, that would be one of these large warehouses and just an empty space. Or, depending on how I wanted to do it, I could put in a medium warehouse here and a medium warehouse here and relocate the path. Or I blast this out one more, and I could do 2 sets of medium warehouses, or I blast out a couple more, and I could do 2 sets of large. But I think I want to leave it alone if I possibly can. So, apples, going to have at least, excuse me, one of these for apples. We know that. Scones are going to require berries, so I know I can have 1 for berries, and I know going through those is going to really cause a lot of problems because we haven't been growing very many berries. But we'll see. We'll balance things out. That's what we will start with. And then We have some juices here. We have maple syrup. Well, that's not technically a juice, but we have maple syrup and bell pepper juice required for the pepper bread. And the only other thing for that is wheat flour. So, what I was considering doing was putting in, and again, I don't want to do this yet until I'm sure that I'm not going to have another set of these things here. But I was considering, and I know this is dangerous because these are now load-bearing. You know what? Actually, no, they're not, because this in the middle goes out 3, and then this here would go out 3 on top as well. So I suppose I could take out these in the very corner if I am careful. I could take these out in the corner and put tanks in, buried tanks, of course. Let's take the leap of faith and do that. Okay, nothing exploded. Good. And that can face this way. That was, yeah, bell pepper juice and maple syrup. I'll just, which one of these is bell pepper juice? There we go. And maple syrup. I know the maple syrup is also used in one of the other recipes. Let's just check this here. Baked beets, but we're not baking beets down here, so I know that's not a big deal. Cornbread. Cornbread uses the maple syrup. Okay. So, you know, there is actually a precedent for us to put the cornbread and corn stuff down here, but I would be concerned about the output of the grist mills for the wheat. I guess we're just going to have to see what happens. But I do want to reserve these 2 warehouses for the ingredients for the cornbread, which would be corn meal, and then I guess I probably don't need 2, 1 more for wheat flour because I already have 2. I really did not do a good job of this, did I? Okay, easiest thing to do. See, this has the 2nd story entrance, which is why I can't do this. Large industrial pile. Man, I am really batting 1,000 today, huh? Well, regardless, we need somewhere to put all of the finished goods, which is what I was going to put here. Because we were only going to have 3 of them. That was going to leave me 1 more space to do something else. But I've got these 2 large warehouses, and I know I have storage for them elsewhere, but we really need to be, you know, actually having somewhere to put all of this stuff. So, pepper bread, scones, and apple pies. I know I have storages elsewhere, but I don't have anything else there. I already just said that. So, I'll start it with this. Apple pies, and then, where's the scones? That's cornbread. There we go. We'll just put that there, have those set to supply. And, well, you know what, just for right now, I'll just change this one to pepper bread because there's nothing in here anyway. All right, yeah, that's all I got, folks. I really don't know what else I can really do. Oh, they did fix most of that. Okay. Man, see now my brain hurts trying to figure this out. Can they reach this? No, I have my HUD turned off. Of course. Here we go. So I think I'm going to have to leave it there just so that I know I haven't made any horrible mistakes. But, yeah, that is a very poorly engineered wheat area underground, completely undetected. And for the sake of what we're trying to do with our venting here, I get the idea that I probably am going to end up putting other stuff in here. But I will make an exhaust stack. I guess, what's this? This is like right on like the border of 4 tiles, so it's going to have to be kind of off-center. Or I could just do it right in the middle because who cares? What is this, 215, 122? Is this at any point going to... Yeah, okay, that's going to vent out that way, so if I move it here... 1 more this way. This actually is completely undetected. 214, 122. Let's just make sure that's exactly what I want. Well, it's not exactly what I want, but it's exactly what I'm going to get. 214, 122. Why can't I keep this in the correct spot? So, I'm not going to be able to come up from the bottom unless I have a way to get in there. So, 214, 122. I just have to get somebody up here. I'll just blast this all the way out. And where am I going to be able to come up from? Okay, I guess if I want him to have him take a super, super long circuitous route. Well, it's not really circuitous, it's just long. Stop using words you don't know the meaning of. Look, I'm trying to make these videos interesting. I know it doesn't work a lot of the time, but it is what it is. So let's get this triple dynamite in. I'm going to have to go down. Oh, I forgot this doesn't show in this this version. I'm going to have to go down a couple times with the triple, but it will vent this. Theoretically, we could make a justification for that being a vent. B for boom. And then, oh, look how close that is. Do that there. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to blast this all the way down, and then I'm going to have to build platforms all the way up so I can put a tubeway on top of the platform to act like the fake vent. If you guys aren't a fan of that, then I guess I could replace it with something else. But you already know the drill. See, this would be 1, 2, 3, then another one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. Yeah, they're going to be at this for a while. So what else could I possibly accomplish today while they're working on that? We already talked about this. I like how this looks. I like how this looks. There's nothing... Oh, I wish these touched in the middle. Nothing I can do about that. At least not easily. There's not much else I can really think of, honestly, without, creating problems. So these blueberries are dying in 4.3 days because the water's not high enough, but it'll get back up pretty quickly once this is no longer a drought. I guess this is fine. Then this is a minor improvement. Also, probably technically. Look, we had 28,000 food. What are we hemming and hawing about for? Put one more of these in here. Oh, this is a problem. I did not think this was going to be a thing. Immediately terrain block. How did I forget? Well, they can build this. I'm glad we caught that before there was a drought. Or not a drought, this end of the drought. No one's ever going to come pick that up, so that can go away. Okay, crisis averted. There should be no flooding, and technically this is getting bell pepper juice. Maple syrup is pretty short supply, actually. We need to have more maples. And I know that was another thing we're trying to figure out what might make sense. This whole area just needs to be redone. Farms need to be redone. You know the drill, so on and so forth. So, in hindsight, this is probably a little bit too ambitious of a task for me to try and do in a single episode. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to put another triple on this. But it's fine. We can only do what we can do. And then once that is put in place, then of course I have to backfill. We already talked about that. I am starting to run out of time to record, so I probably am going to have to cut this when we're finished with this. Oh, the joys of being 22 episodes into a playthrough where your primary objective has already been defeated because the trains don't work. So I hope you guys are enjoying this still. I am genuinely trying to come up with interesting things. So that is completely filled in. Or not filled in. Whatever the opposite of filled in is. Okay, triple platforms all the way up. That comes up to here. For the sake of the illusion, I'm going to do that. And then we'll do a triple stack here. Then they can build that, and then around that we have these decorative blocks. If we do metal decoration, those are overhangs. I don't want that. Metal decoration with diagonals. Could be a 3x3, depending on how I want to do this. I think it might end up looking kind of nice if I did that. And then decorative... Wait a sec. Nope. I will do this the correct way. We'll get them to finish this, and then I'll stack on top of it. What? No, I didn't want to put that there. Get out of here. Thank you, autosave. If that is your real name. Yeah, we'll get that popped in there. And I think because I have these... Ooh. Do I have... Oh, man. That actually might have been a better call to do that. Let's... They haven't built this yet, right? Let's retcon this. Let's do I don't want the square corner. I want the... Yeah, I want that. That's going to look cool. I don't know, you might disagree. That's fine. And then, decorative metal slope, I need a double height. Yeah, okay. See, now it actually kind of looks like an industrial smokestack kind of thing, in my opinion at least. They probably can't build this third one on the top, so I can help them out by putting in a staircase, and then they can build that. Yeah, that might look kind of cool. Might look kind of cool. Might look kind of stupid. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, they're still in the process of taking care of that. We still don't have maple syrup. Yeah, that's going to have to be one of the next problems we solve. Too much products. Yes, I know. I'm trying. That's already full. They haven't really started consuming enough because they don't have the supplies. I need to have somewhere to put the charcoal. See, that's a whole thing. But once I know for sure if I'm going to not have the cornbread over here or not, that's going to inform what I'm doing with the rest of this. We'll get that fixed next episode. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be red. That's awesome. That looks cool. I like that a lot. I think that is pretty sweet. We'll get the rest of these pieces popped in here. That, oh, yeah, folks, that is going to be pretty sweet. So I guess this is probably a good time to go ahead and do that end of episode fun stuff. I know we're about to have this cycle alarm in a little bit. But I do genuinely appreciate you guys watching these videos, giving me your honest feedback, and contributing ideas, because I'm not a very aesthetically minded person. I normally don't play the game like this. So getting the input from you is really the only way I can make this happen and not just devolve into whatever kind of nonsense I normally do. So I'm always going to be appreciative of that. Cycle 42. We'll go check out the berries at the pond. You can't see where I'm pointing. Go check that out in a little bit. The beard boosters, of course, subsidizing all of this are also a huge part of why I'm able to continue doing this, investing the time that I do with all the other stuff I got going. I got a lot going on, man. But I am committed to finishing these series at the very least. Doing my best to get these done before the end of 2025 so we can start 2026 with some new ideas and hopefully make some good positive changes for all of this stuff. But as they're finishing wrapping this up, let's get this staircase out of here. Put that last piece in, the double height metal slope. And go check out what's going on over here. Yeah, see, these are fine. I was worried these were going to die, but they're looking all right. Food's up to 30K. I think that's pretty sweet. We got 26,000 juice. Yeah, I got no complaints, honestly. I really like how this turned out. Let me know your thoughts. There is a triple height that I had not used, but a little bit of a taller, thinner smokestack kind of thing. If you want that, we can, swap that out. But honestly, I think this is a pretty good start, pretty good project for us to take on today, and obviously we're fine as we move forward. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you again in this playthrough when we do the next episode. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.